Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Just that awkward pause before we get started. I am good. How are you?
Great.
That's all I get.
Well, yeah, I'm great. Full
Okay,
stop.
good. Okay. That is a full sentence. Well, welcome back, everyone. We are shaking things up a little bit. We're actually bringing the topic to you. Normally, we ask for your questions and then answer them, but we're actually talking about a topic that we've been talking about behind the scenes, and that is big ROI foods.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Jen, before we get into this whole topic of what the big ROI foods are that we enjoy and that we integrate into our lives, can you define what a big ROI food is? What does that even mean?
Okay, so ROI means return on investment for people who don't know. And a big ROI food would be, it's got to be put in the context of your nutritional goals, okay? And that means it provides you with a larger dose of whatever that nutritional goal is, while the effort it takes to eat that food is lower. Okay, so big benefit, low drawbacks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And we've got a handful of them, but can you give some kind of like some context examples or specific examples of what that might look like?
Sure. Yeah, so if you are working towards increasing your fiber, which is a goal I created for myself this past fall, it's finding very high fiber foods that maybe minimize added sugar or other calories. And you're like, wow, this is a big bang for my buck fiber food. If you are working towards increasing your protein intake, which a lot of our members do work at that goal from like time to time or at certain stages of their journey, that's finding a very high protein food that is possibly minimizes fat. If you are working towards increasing any vitamin or mineral, like if you have some kind of deficiency, it's finding a food that's very high in that vitamin or mineral.
Yeah.
It's like finding your own personal superfood, right? Low effort, high impact food.
Yeah, and it might not be specifically like nutrient or macro or micronutrient specific. It could also be like I'm looking for foods that I can eat on the go, or foods that pack well for my lunch at school, or
totally, yes.
When I'm low on energy and I get home from my shift late at night, but I need something to eat, but I don't want to cook. Like,
yes,
those could all be included in the big ROI foods for you.
Yeah, totally. You realize that you don't have to put in a lot of effort and it has a big impact on your nutritional goals. The flip side what I want to mention is a lot of people have nutrition decisions that they're making on a daily basis, and they're making that decision because it's convenient, but it's actually like a low impact food, or it might even be like and by that I mean the drawbacks of eating that food frequently are quite high. Right? So for me, the big ROI foods, I try to incorporate them in my diet frequently, if not every day. And the foods that we're about to share, I have most of these pretty much on a daily basis. And when you find foods like this and you start incorporating them into your routines, into your habits, this is when we can start getting to a place with nutrition where it doesn't feel so effortful, right? Where it feels like you're creating a system that works for you and it can kind of run on autopilot. I'm not saying you never have to think about it or you don't have to be mindful of having those things in the house, but they're so helpful to you. You start including them daily and the benefits will come over time.
Yeah. This could be like the equivalent of having a uniform in your wardrobe.
Yes.
Wardrobe.
Yes, capsule wardrobe.
Yes. When I pair this with this, I know that even though the differences on a day-to-day basis might look like slightly different, when I pair these things together, when I include these things in my wardrobe, I feel better. I enjoy my outfit more.
Yes, because maybe you think about what you're going to wear too much. It's just like it's too time consuming, too energy. It's mentally taxing, right? And it's the same with food. People have that issue with food. They think about food too much. It's like nutrition feels so hard, and then they're looking for the screw it button, right? They're going, it's just too much. It's too draining. It's too hard to cook everything from scratch. Like they're so overwhelmed with what they need to do that they're hitting that screw it button.
Yeah.
So I'm suggesting that we all have, I think ours might really resonate with some people, the foods that we're about to share today. But I also think that you have to look at your own life, your own goals, your own preferences, because it also has to taste good, and decide, what yours are.
Yeah. And I do think another barrier to including these ROI foods can be the belief or even a preference for more variety or like a resistance to experiencing some boredom or routine, yeah. Right? And so like Jen just said, I include most of these on a daily basis. How I include them or what I pair them with might change day to day to give me a little variety, but I would like to challenge listeners to say, like, what would happen if you just embrace that these are some staples that I include consistently?
Yeah.
And I can get that joy, that excitement, that variety other ways.
Totally.
Yeah. Okay, so we have 7, which is an odd number for us.
Lucky. But it's a lucky number. Yeah.
But it, I think, is a good representation of foods that you enjoy, foods that I enjoy. So you want to kick us off with number 1, which is a shared selection.
So number 1 is a protein shake. Annie and I both have protein shakes every day. In the last kind of year and a half, 2 years, I've even discovered the power of pre-mixed protein shakes. So I'm not even putting in the effort to mix protein powder with milk anymore. I happen to have one beside me. Sponsor us.
Fairlife.
Billboard. Can you see it?
I can.
So I started buying Fairlife protein drinks, a year and a half, 2 years ago. And this is like a grab and go situation now for me. I can grab it and go, whether I'm headed out the door or I just want to come back to my office to work. Like it's suddenly getting my protein in. Even going from like mixing up protein shakes to this, it's like the effort is literally 0 and I get 30 grams of protein. And one thing I find, not every person struggles with getting protein from food or the ideal amount of protein from food, but I don't know, Annie, it'd be a rare woman in our program who's naturally getting enough protein for what her goals size are.
Yeah. The members that are getting adequate protein most of them have had to put in concerted effort to get to that stage.
Yeah. So I do find this isn't true for everybody. It's kind of a general thing that I've noticed is that women really they just seem to not gravitate towards protein sources, quote unquote, naturally. So a protein shake to me, that's like having a supplement. That's like having an omega-3 if you don't eat a lot of fish. I have a protein shake every day. That takes 30 grams off of my total that I need to get in a day. So for me, it's 90 to 100 grams. That means it just kind of takes the pressure off my meals of how much protein I need to get in. So when I have a protein shake a day, I'm hitting my protein targets every single day, sometimes exceeding. And as I've shared in previous podcasts, if I'm having a day that I can see is going to be low protein, maybe we're at an event, eating out, whatever it is where I'm struggling, I might have 2 protein shakes in the day. And it makes it easy. And my protein shakes have 30 grams of protein, but I think yours have 45. Like yours really pack a punch.
42. To be clear, I often get the Core Power, which is powered by Fairlife. So I think there's some sort of connection between what you drink and what I drink. From the gas station, because I don't know what it is, but I feel like I find myself at gas stations often.
Yeah.
Between getting actual gas or a kid needs a snack for their movie day or whatnot. So that is often an easy item for me to grab. It's readily available. I really actually enjoy the taste. I think they taste like a melted milkshake. I think they're really delicious actually, but for all the same reasons that you mentioned, they do start my day off with like they're taking a big chunk of my protein needs out of the way so I can approach the day with a little bit more flexibility if needed.
Yeah. Totally.
And so we've talked about this before, but this concept of kind of like front loading where you get in, kind of a big ROI meal right off the bat, then you're not, 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night thinking, oh my gosh, I need a high protein meal or snack and I don't have anything on hand, or it just really just allows for a lot of flexibility and lower stress.
Yeah, totally. The other thing that's very common in people trying to increase their protein intake is when they are, simply trying to do that through like meat or dairy, they end up increasing their overall calories because they are just not aware of how much fat can be in a lot of meat and a lot of dairy. And so just a mindfulness there, if you have a fat loss goal, if you're listening and you have a fat loss goal, increasing your protein while also increasing your fat often leads to either no change or weight gain. I've seen this. And so that's why having a protein source, something with like My Fairlife, 30 grams of protein with essentially no fat. I don't know if it's no fat or just very low fat, but in total, it's I think 150 calories, right? So it's just a big bang for your buck. It's not super energy dense, very high protein. So that would be that's my number one top ROI food.
Yeah, I agree. And I want to just kind of laugh at ourselves so from a relatability standpoint, if you have a perception that Jen and I have a lot of willpower, dedication, or motivation to eat balanced and eat well, like remember that we can't even barely be bothered to make our own protein shake. Like
I think, we're nutrition coaches, but a lot of people, if you came to my house and followed me around for the day, it's probably not what you think. I eat like a normal person, right?
Yeah.
I eat, as you'll see from this list, there's a couple very normal person decisions in here.
Yeah, well, and if they follow you on Instagram, they've seen your balance plates where it's like Super Bowl leftover food or leftover pizza,
nachos. Yes, totally.
And you integrate it into your meals beautifully.
Into a balanced nutrition overall diet, right?
Yeah. Okay, what's the second one is all you.
Yeah, so this second one I just discovered this fall. I mean, I knew about the product, but it was like when I started focusing on this part of my nutrition, it was like, okay, it was, looking for these ROI foods. So this past fall, I created a fiber goal, which has been, oh my gosh, the benefits. I'm so happy I decided to have a look.
Tell us about the benefits. What are the benefits, Jen?
You can guess. You can just guess. I'm very happy with my bathroom habits at the moment. So, like many people, I made an assumption that my fiber was great. And this fall, I decided to have a look just out of curiosity. Where is my fiber sitting? And it was a little low. It wasn't super low, but it was a little low. And then you have those days when you're eating kind of off track, not in ideal ways. Well, then my fiber was, quite low. Right? Like Super Bowl Sundays, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So in a hunt for another like big ROI food, I found All Brand Bud cereal, and it has 15 grams of fiber in 1/3 of a cup and only 80 calories. I'm pretty much eating All Brand Bud cereal 7 days a week at this point. I started out, just kind of sometimes, and then was seeing the benefits and realized I really like it. Now, I couldn't sit down to a bowl of All Brand Bud cereal. I don't find it that enjoyable, but I just put about 1/3 of a cup on top of my blueberries and yogurt in the morning. And it's, same as with the protein. I'm getting 15 grams of 15 grams of fiber right here, and essentially hitting my fiber goal for the rest of the day becomes totally effortless. I can tell the way you're looking at me right now, Annie, that you're going to try this.
Well,
you're like, dang, yeah, that's good.
I don't know All Brand. I've never had that, but I do not often, but on occasion buy Raisin Bran. That was a Sopranos inspired. I just watched Sopranos for the first time. I'm way behind. Have you seen it?
No, I've never watched it.
Well, Tony often eats Raisin Bran cereal, but it does have, I don't know off the top of my head, but it does have a higher fiber content.
Yeah, for sure.
And actually what my boyfriend does is he has Raisin Bran and pours his protein shake in it as the milk.
Oh, wow.
And
Good
so
for him.
The leftover is kind of that cinnamony cereal
Yummy.
milk kind of taste. But
Yes.
I'm not opposed to this. And I do like the idea of crunch in yogurt parfaits, especially because I oftentimes put granola. So this could be a real beneficial swap for a Raisin Bran or something like that instead of granola.
I like the all bran bud cereal because it is there are all bran flakes. The buds to me are more like granola. Like I do like granola as well. So for me, I've swapped out granola for the all bran buds. You could do a mixture or whatever, but it's a very big ROI food for me. I'm super happy with it. I also want to mention, just for anyone listening who has children, this Raisin Bran. I know, like, I don't know if you're a busy family like me, but we eat a lot of cereal in my house. I got a 14-year-old, a 12-year-old, and a 10-year-old. We go through cereal like crazy. And look, we all know that there are more and less nutritious cereals. And for me, it's like, look, my kids like cereal. And so how do you get cereal in your environment that they will eat and like, but also maybe tick some boxes? And so that's just another little tip to add to this. I also buy, with what Annie is talking about, when I look at the labels for when I'm choosing my kids' cereals, I'm always looking at the fiber and the protein. Like, yes, there's sugar in them, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, there are some cereals out there that are pretty much, there's no fiber, there's no protein. It's pretty much just a big sugary cereal. And that's fine once in a while. But if you're also trying to get fiber or protein into your kids, you'd be amazed at how high fiber some of these cereals are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Food number 3.
Food number 3 is beans. So I add beans to a lot of things. I'm just very creative when it comes to beans. I'm also a creative cooker. Like recipes are guidelines for me. So this is something that comes easily to me. Not everyone will have the confidence for this, but beans are like seriously nutritious. They have tons of fiber and often tons of protein, right? So you're getting like a double whammy for both. Mm-hmm. So as people who follow me on Instagram will know, and, I've had people just shocked by this, but I'm no stranger to just opening a can of Heinz brown beans and having it with some toast. Like love them. Or on the side with eggs kind of thing. Like they really up the nutrition in your meals. But I also do things like I often add like lentils to spaghetti sauce. I will, if I'm having a dish with rice, I might just mix in some black beans or kidney beans with that rice dish, right? So it just... Or I'll throw chickpeas on top of a salad. And I'm just talking canned beans. That's what I buy. And I'll rinse them and just add them to whatever. So it just gives it just honestly improves the nutrition of any meal to add beans to it.
Yeah, I love it. They're generally affordable. They're shelf stable.
Yeah, totally. I think they're a big ROI food for our family anyways.
Yeah, I don't eat as many beans as Jen does, but I do enjoy chili.
Yes, chili. Delish.
We have chili in the fall and winter. It's one of the 3 things I can cook without having to consult a recipe. So we have it at least once a week.
Okay, I have to brag for a moment. I won a chili competition in 2018.
You did not.
I have an award-winning chili recipe. Yes, I did. My whole community, it was 20 chilies were submitted, and it was at a big community event, and everyone voted, and I won. How do you not know this about me?
I feel like I don't even know you right now. First of all, because I did know you in 2018, and I didn't know that about you. But I'm also wondering why that is not available for purchase, like Jen's Balance365 award-winning chili recipe.
I'll get right on that.
Would you share it, or is it a secret?
I can share it with you. This is no secret. There's lots of recipes out there, but what the secret really is, I think, is adding barbecue sauce. Oh. It just gives it a little extra kick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I look forward to seeing that available.
Annie's writing this down right now. I can see her reaching for her pen.
My chili is pretty basic, but my kids eat it, and I can sneak in a
great, use like extra lean ground beef. You've got like a low fat, high protein meat. You got all those beans, all that fiber, all like more protein. And then I don't know if you add veggies to yours, but I add lots of veggies, and it's like a balanced meal right there.
It is. I can sneak in so many peppers and tomatoes that my kids don't. It doesn't even faze them.
Yeah, it's an awesome food.
Yeah. Okay, speaking of awesome foods,
yes.
The next one is mine, but probably yours too.
Yeah, totally.
I feel like I may have cheated a little bit because this is actually like a combination of foods, but sandwiches is one of my...
Sandwiches, they are a big ROI food for sure for both of us.
Yeah, so back in the beginning, I was talking about, kind of go-to staples that I can throw together quickly. I usually have the ingredients on hand, and it can come together to make a pretty balanced meal. Sandwiches are it for me. Like if all else fails, I know that I can have a sandwich and feel satiated and get adequate nutrients.
Totally. We do sandwiches for dinner sometimes. Like everybody who doesn't like sandwiches.
Yeah, I love sandwiches, and there's a lot of variety to, toppings and veggies and dressings. And, I've shared many times on Instagram the life-changing hack of putting Italian seasoning on your sandwiches to give it like just a ton of flavor. You can toast the bread, you can heat it up, you can microwave it, you can, so many options. And honestly, like life-changing for me.
Yes.
Are sandwiches.
The other thing is, we have such carb alarmists out there. And we have, we got a whole generation or 2 generations of women who are afraid of bread because it was, the worst food. Whole grain bread is super nutritious. And like for me, it's amazing how high protein your sandwich can be, but what you maybe a lot of people don't know is that there's like a good little boost of protein in whole grain bread. So I think I get 8 grams of protein from if I have a 30 grams of protein per meal goal, roughly, 25, 30, whatever. That's a good goal for anyone, by the way, as a starting point. I think my bread has like 8 grams of protein, just in the bread, 8 grams of protein. So it's like, so get yourself a sandwich.
Yeah. Eat a
sandwich.
Instead of eat a Snickers, you remember those commercials where they would get like hangry and they'd show like Betty White, getting all angry or something. And it's like, no, hungry, have a Snickers, eat a sandwich. Yes. But I also want to say something about sandwiches that this is, I just clued into this recently. When I have sandwiches, I am way more likely to also pair it with fruit or vegetables, not on the sandwich, but like on the side.
Like an apple on the side or something.
Yeah, orange or some blueberries or some carrots and blueberries or something. So it's kind of this like linchpin or gateway habit to even better habits outside of it.
Yeah.
Which I think is great.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. Okay. Number 5. This is also mine. I don't know if you eat a lot of these, but
I don't.
Bananas. You don't?
No. And when I read this morning, I was like, wow, I don't even know her. Well, I didn't know this about you.
Welcome to the club. I didn't know you had a chili recipe, award-winning chili recipe. Listen, here's the thing about bananas. As clearly talking about fruit a lot. I've been working on my fruit habit. There was a funny reel going around recently where it was like adults acknowledging that like, oh, you eat fruit every day? Like who does that? And I was one of those. Like I was like, yeah, I eat fruit every day. But then when I started looking at the actual data on my fruit intake, I was like, no, I don't. Right. I could go days without eating.
Oh, I can't even. I'm a big fruit eater. Yeah.
Yeah. So when I had the realization that my fruit intake was low, I've made efforts to increase it. And bananas, they're always in season. Again, they're affordable. They're readily available. I shop at like 3 different grocery stores, but they're always, regardless of where I'm at, they're available. They're high in potassium. They've got a little bit of fiber. I don't think they're, the highest fiber fruit, but they're great as standalone. They're great on my peanut butter toast.
God, peanut butter and banana toast is so yummy.
Yes. They're great in yogurt parfaits if I want, like, again, some of that texture. So I can use these a variety of ways. I usually have 1, if not more, a day.
Wow, I didn't know that about you. The other thing about bananas, even though I don't eat them super frequently, I recommend them quite often to members who work out in the morning and need a little something to get through a workout, but they don't want to have like a larger breakfast that kind of, weighs them down during that workout. So I often recommend bananas as like a carbohydrate source before a workout.
Yeah. Yeah. They're so portable, like easy to eat on the go. Like
Yeah.
there's a lot of benefits to bananas,
Yes.
I think.
The way you feel about bananas, this is not an official recommendation. Oh, maybe this should have been on the list, but the way you feel about bananas is how I feel about apples.
Oh,
I like the crunch. Get yourself a good apple. There are some not good apples out there, but get yourself a good variety. They're sweet. I like the crunch. They have like 5 grams of fiber in an apple. I sometimes chop them up into little pieces and throw them in yogurt. I love apples.
I recently discovered that I like my apples sliced. And so I got myself a little slicer that has like, I think it's like 16 slices. You know how there's like the standard slicer that has like 8 slices. I like even smaller than that. And so when
What are you talking about?
like, the apple slicer, the apple.
This is some lazy American BS. You have a machine that slices your apple.
No,
for
it's
you.
just this little handheld, like, it's got little handles on either side and it's like got
Never
portions.
in my life.
You've never seen this
or
before.
heard. No.
Well, listen, I'm going to send you one. And you're going to be the coolest Canadian on the block.
Okay.
All the kids are going to want to eat your apples.
I don't know if Canadians have heard of this, but if they have, they're laughing at my lazy American BS comment.
Tell us what you really think. Can't even make a protein shake, but scoffs at an apple slicer.
Shut up. Shut up.
Okay,
That's lazy Canadian BS.
which is fine, which is totally acceptable. But American is it's too far. Okay, we got 2 more to go. What's number 6?
2 more to go. Okay, so I put this on the list as something that is like a sweet treat for me. Okay, so it's Fiber One bars. Do you have Fiber One bars in the States?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we do. I have. I'll let you say your piece about them, but
They are so delicious. To me, it's like having a chocolate bar. I have one almost every day, and I want to share that as around this. Hey, we eat like normal people around here. It's okay to eat sweet things in the day, even regularly. Everyone, it's okay. So Fiber One bars. The reason I choose Fiber One bars is they have 7 grams of fiber in one bar, which is extraordinary. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you swap out your fruit or vegetables for a Fiber One bar at all. Fruits and vegetables have, tons of micronutrient benefits, of course. Fiber One bar has 7 grams of fiber. It's 130 calories. It's chocolatey. It's sweet. And I find it incredibly psychologically satisfying to have a Fiber One bar. And it's not like a high impact, some of these like chocolate bars and stuff are going to be way higher calorie. They're going to have no fiber. They're going to be one of those like low impact nutrition choices. So for me, having a Fiber One bar is just one of those little swaps that I get to keep my little sweet treat, but I also get a big dose of fiber. And look, between my Fiber One bar and my All Brand Bud cereal in a day, I'm getting like 22 grams of fiber right there.
yeah. Here's my one complaint. I agree with everything you said. I think the taste is amazing. They are so satisfying. There's a lot of clearly a lot of fiber. Whenever I bring them into my house, I tell my kids, and they forget like 1 a day is plenty because they will overconsume because they are so good.
Yeah.
And a couple of times now we've like had some digestive issues as a result of like
fiber?
Rapid increase of fiber because they're like they think they're like those little chewy granola bars, right? Where
and your kids are having like 40 grams of fiber in one sitting.
Yes.
He's like,
yes. And so it
poor
is.
little peanuts.
I think maybe now that they're a little bit older, I could bring them back in and remind them like, hey, these are yummy, but when we have multiples a day, we're going to have an upset stomach for a while.
That's hilarious, Annie. I don't have that problem with my kids. That's so funny.
Do they eat them as well, or is it just
like
you?
them? Yeah, they like them. Okay. They like them. Yeah, I don't. My kids don't do what your kids are doing, but they like them.
It's probably some scarcity stuff because they come in and then I take them right out because I'm like,
yeah,
nope.
I mean, we have them Fiber One bars are pretty much in our house all the time, and yeah, we all like them. But yeah, I don't have that problem.
Yeah, they are good. You know, people talk about like, well, you know, if I bring these yummy foods into my house, like I overeat them, like you won't overeat these because you'll pay the
price.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. Okay. Last but not least, what is it?
Last but not least is sparkling water for me. And obviously this is not a food, it's a beverage, but I don't think I would drink water without it. I love sparkling water. I love using our soda stream and just having like water from my tap, carbonated. But also shout out to Peach Aha sodas, which I also share on Instagram all the time. When they're on sale, my pantry is full of cases, but this is how I meet probably my water goals in a day, is that I drink sparkling water, and I don't know if I would without it.
Yeah, I agree. I have some peach ahas as well in my fridge. I also have LaCroix flavored plain.
Have you ever tried a soda stream?
No, I have not.
Do you like your tap water? Like, you know, some cities have tap water that just doesn't taste good, but
I have the city that I'm in has incredibly hard water, so I often get it filtered from my fridge, but I think my filter is like way out of date. So my soda, like I like the water from our tap. It tastes good, but when you put it through the soda stream, I'm like, I could sell this. This is so delicious. Pair that with your award-winning chili recipe.
Yes.
Yeah.
You got to come over and eat one day.
Oh, I've done that before, and I will happily do it again. I always eat well when I am in your house, for sure. Yeah, I really like carbonated sparkling waters.
Yeah.
I think they're so delicious, especially because I am a big soda fan as well. Like I drink diet sodas like daily as well. So I'm used to that carbonation. So sometimes flat water is like, something's missing here.
Totally. Yes.
But a crisp aha, it's cold, is very refreshing.
It's honestly, it's a real treat. And there's something very satisfying about just the bubbles in your mouth, I think. And one thing I'll say about our emotional eaters in our program, especially like I'd say pretty classic situation is like nighttime emotional eater. Mm-hmm. And bridging that habit towards so when we bridge these habits, it's like, look, you want a treat. You obviously want a treat. Okay. So, and they're like, yeah, I want a treat, and not having any, like thinking about giving up that food in the evening feels like deprivation. It feels like restriction, right? So we look at what habits they could incorporate to still feel like they're meeting that psychological need, but they're not taking in all that extra food at the end of the day. And I've had a lot of women bridge that towards like a calorie-free or low-calorie beverage. So sparkling water is a popular choice, and it's like, it's refreshing and satisfying. It's meeting the need. Sometimes tea, other things works too, but yes, there's a lot of people drinking sparkling water in our community, I would say.
Yeah, and they've come a long way in the last couple of years. I've seen just a uptick in varieties, different brands.
Yeah, flavored. Yeah.
Yeah, so they are readily available. It used to be just, I feel like, you got plain lime and lemon.
Yeah.
And now
Peach Aha soda is definitely the cream of the crop, I would say.
But hard to find though.
Not here.
Well, it used to be pretty hard.
It was when it first came out. It was they couldn't keep up with demand. But yes, I think they've caught up.
It's probably our influence.
Yes.
Yeah. So Fiber One, Aha's, Core Life, or Fair Life.
All cereal.
Yes.
Flying off the shelves in every city across North America.
Influenced. Are we doing it right?
Yes.
Okay, that was our lucky number
That's our
seven.
seven.
Big
Yeah.
ROI foods. We'd love to hear if you include any of these or what your ROI foods are as well. We can just continue to build this list.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else?
No, that's it.
Okay. Well, thanks for hanging out with me today.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.